Welcome, incoming kindergarten families. This is our kindergarten readiness video, and the purpose of this video is to give you some information. It's the same information that we would have covered at our kindergarten readiness night meeting, but with all the stuff that's happening right now, we haven't been able to be together. But this video will help answer any questions you have and hopefully help you feel more prepared for your child entering kindergarten this fall. My name is Heather Graves, and I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Mountain View Preparatory. So let's get started. So for kindergarten readiness, the first thing that we might think about would be personal needs. So can your child tie their own shoes? This one is always a big one. Can they tie their shoes? If they can, then absolutely laces and shoes will be fine in kindergarten. But if they can't tie their own shoes, then they do need to have either slip-on shoes or shoes with Velcro so that they can manage them themselves. Kindergarten is very busy. There are 24 littles in each class, and I just don't have time to tie shoes with all of those kids. So if they can manage their shoes themselves, then that makes it a lot better. Can your child wash their own hands with soap and water and do that effectively? We have been practicing that a lot, so I'm sure that that will not be a problem. Snaps, buttons, zippers, and buckles. So all of those things they need to be able to manipulate themselves. I have had students in the past wear belts and wear like bibs that they haven't been able to handle themselves, and that's when accidents happen in the bathroom. So if they're going to wear those things to school, just make sure that they can handle them themselves and they can do it independently. Things to think about for lunch and snack. Again, we're all about practicing and working on independence, and so if your child is bringing a snack or a lunch and it's something that they can't physically open themselves, then that takes a lot longer because there aren't many adults to help during lunch. There are only 2 adults for the 2 kindergarten classrooms, and it takes a lot of time for those 2 adults to go around and open things and heat up things for lunch. And same with snack. I don't have a lot of time to get to all of the kids before our snack time is up. If they can work those things independently, then that makes it that much easier. And they have more time for snack and they have more time for recess. So things to think about would maybe take a package of goldfish, and if they're not able to open that package by themselves, then you could open it and put it in a Ziploc bag, and then they can easily open that at snack or at lunch. So just some things to think about this summer when you are having snack and you're having lunch would be a good time for them to practice those things. So just give them maybe string cheese if that would be something that they would have for snack. Have them practice opening it. Putting on and taking off their own jacket. So putting on their jacket doesn't seem like it would be a big deal, but in the morning when they take them off and they're inside out, then when it comes time to put it back on, then it becomes a problem. So just practicing the sweaters and the jackets and sweatshirts, things like that, so that they're able to do it themselves, because again, a lot of it is being able to do things independently. Social skills. Can your child listen and follow directions? And so when you ask your child to do something, are they able to do that quickly for you? That would be something to practice this summer if it's needing a little bit of work. Can your child cooperate with other children? Again, there are 24 littles in each kindergarten class, and so cooperation with others is going to be a big part of our social skills. Can he or she sit for short periods of time? So our lessons on the rug are minimal at first, so we don't really have them sitting longer than 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the school year. It is all practicing and building stamina for those lessons, but we do expect them to be able to sit and listen for a short period of time. So we could think about that maybe when you go to church. Is your child able to sit in the pew and listen to what's happening during church without needing a screen or something to occupy their time. So can they focus on something and be able to do that work? Can they follow two-step directions? So for example, at home you might say, Susie, go put on your pajamas and brush your teeth. So are they able to follow those two-step directions? Can they go and put on their pajamas and go and brush their teeth? Or after they've put on their pajamas, have they forgotten what that second direction was? So just working on those two-step directions this summer, that will also be helpful. Can your child sit and focus on an activity for 5 to 10 minutes? So that's kind of what we were talking about with the social skills in the last part. So being able to sit and focus, again, we do build that stamina, and that's something that we work on for the first 6 weeks of kindergarten. Independence and building stamina happens every single day. If they can get some practice this summer, then they will be much more ready for that when we get to school in August. Can they say and write their first name? So when we talk about names, if they're able to say their first name and their last name, then that is really helpful. But can they write their first name? And when we think about writing our first name, can they write it correctly? Can they write their first name with a capital first and then the lowercase letters after that? If they're not able to do that right now and they write in all capitals, then they can practice that this summer. Being able to write their name correctly will be something that, of course, we're going to work on once school is in session, but if they've had practice with that, then that is helpful. Can they identify their colors, shapes, and sizes? Most of the time when kinders come in, all of those things they are already able to do, but just something to think about. Counting to 10. So this is always a fun game that you can play in the car when you're going from place to place and have your child practice counting. And maybe they can go higher than 10. See how high your child can count. And it might get a little frustrating for you in the car when you're on those trips, but it is something that will help them and will be good practice for them. Do they recognize letters of the alphabet? So when kinders come in, they are able to say the letters of the alphabet, they're able to sing the alphabet song, but when it comes to recognizing the letters when they're out of order, they're not able to do that. So can your child recognize letters? If you have flashcards or if you have letter tiles at home, you could put them out in front of your child and just ask them, do you know what this letter is? Can you tell me? Do you know what this letter is? And start with the letters in their name, because those are highly recognizable to them because they see them all the time. So start there, and then you can work on other letters of the alphabet. Can they correctly hold a pencil and scissors? So practicing holding a pencil correctly is really important before they get to kindergarten, because if they start and they practice holding it incorrectly, then it's really hard to fix that habit once they get here. So when we hold a pencil, just to show that example, we can think about it like an alligator's mouth, holding on to the pencil, and then our thumb is underneath, and then the pencil can rest either on your third finger. Some like it on their fourth finger, so that is a matter of comfort. But if we could just practice that pinch and holding the pencil correctly, that will be helpful for us too. And scissors, I know it sounds like, oh my goodness, I don't want my child to have scissors because they're going to cut things they're not supposed to cut. Well, that is true if they don't have any experience with them. So if a child has never used scissors before, they come into kindergarten and they cut their own hair, or they cut their shirt, or they're cutting their neighbor's hair. Things like that do happen because they haven't had any experience with them. So give them some paper this summer and some scissors to hold on to. And again, with the scissors, the thumb goes into the small hole, 2 fingers into the bigger hole, and then let them practice that. And you tell them the only thing you are allowed to cut is this paper that I give you. They're not able to cut other things. All right, so let's think about starting to build routines this summer. It's a really great time to do that because we have lots of time to practice. So setting a consistent bedtime will be really important. I don't know if you guys are aware, but 5-year-olds need 10 to 13 hours of sleep a night, which is a lot. They do need a lot of sleep. So setting that consistent bedtime now will make that routine easier when school starts in the fall. I know it might seem kind of hard, but as you keep working on it, it gets easier and easier. So a consistent bedtime, and along with being consistent would be eating regular meals and having that regular breakfast time, lunchtime, dinner time. That way they are getting into a routine, because our day in kindergarten is all routine. We do the same things every day, so they know what to expect. Set aside time for reading. Oh, it's so important right now for you to read to your child. Get them onto your lap and read books with them, or let them read. They may not be reading the words exactly, but they might be reading the pictures for you, or they might be retelling a story that they've heard many times. Let them do that. It's really important for their reading skills. So set aside that time this summer. Some things to think about for reading foundations. Letter recognition, which we talked about. Starting with their name is really going to be helpful because, again, they do know those letters. They recognize them. But YouTube is also a really good resource, and Pinterest. So you can look up videos and songs on YouTube. Songs are really helpful for littles. It helps them remember the letters, numbers, and there's lots of great songs out there for them to use as educational tools. So YouTube and then Pinterest, like I said, you can look at different activities for them to build that letter recognition. Phonemic awareness, and phonemes are all of the sounds in a word. And so I did put here, words are made up of sounds. And so that's what phonemic awareness is. And when we think of a word like cat, then we think of all the sounds that make up that word. K, at, cat. And so practicing those sounds, again, will be helpful for your kindergartner. Now, we're not expecting them to know all of the sounds and words before they get here. We are working on that with them. But if we can think about first sound awareness, so when we say cat, well, what is that first sound that you hear in cat? And just have them repeat back k. Or what's the first sound that you hear in dog? And then have them say d. So just thinking about that first sound awareness, again, will be super helpful for us in the fall. And we have a program called Lexia. So Lexia is a great reading tool that we use in the classroom, and more information will come this summer about Lexia. You will receive a letter from the school, and it will have your child's username and password. Once you receive your username and password, you should have your child practice, because typing in the numbers can be really difficult for them if they've never done it. And then for us as teachers, we're trying to get 24 littles onto the computers into their Lexia. But if they've practiced at home, then they can do that themselves. And again, it is all about independence. So you will receive more information about that this summer. Oh, dress code. All right, so dress code. I just put the basics on here. Polo shirt can be any solid color, and that's the same for dresses for girls. Dresses, just a solid color. Any color is good. When we look at things like shorts and pants and skirts, the colors would be blue, black, khaki, or denim. No sweatpants. No leggings by themselves. So what that means, it would be like a long shirt and leggings, so that's not okay. If there's a skirt over the leggings, then that's okay. They just can't wear the leggings by themselves. No jersey shorts or what we might call basketball shorts, so they're not allowed to wear those. And then no flip-flops when we think about shoes. So in kindergarten, tennis shoes really are the best thing for them to wear. And as I mentioned before, with tennis shoes, if they know how to tie their shoes, then absolutely they may have laces in them. But if they don't know how to tie their shoes, then please make sure that they're wearing slip-on tennis shoes or ones that have Velcro. And the last part down here I just put for back to school conferences. So these will happen the last week of July and the first part of August. And your child's teacher will be in contact with you this summer to make an appointment for those back to school conferences. So we don't know how the classes are set up just yet, but your teacher will contact you with that information. So just one last thing that I'd like to cover before we finish would be materials for the kindergarten classroom. And it's always a little bit easier to have visual aids for this, especially when it comes to headphones. So headphones, these are really, really easy headphones. These are $5, I believe, at Walmart. Very simple, small, compact. These last longer than the really expensive ones. When they get really big and bulky, they don't fit into the little pocket that we have for your child's headphones. So the small ones that don't have bunny ears or unicorn, none of that kind of stuff, just really simple, and then make sure that they're labeled with your child's name. So the headphones, crayons, we do ask for the Crayola crayons. I know that might seem like we're trying to be snooty or something like that, but we're not. The reason that we ask for the Crayola ones, they last a long time. We do ask for 4 boxes per child, and we ask for that because they get a new box each quarter. And if we have the Crayola crayons, then they last the entire quarter, and they're not breaking, and the kids are able to use them that whole time. So 4 boxes of Crayola crayons. Elmer's glue sticks, those are the best ones that we have. Again, they last a long time, and they're really sticky. Some of the other ones aren't so much. We did put on our list, this is under the appreciated but not, we don't have to have them, but the Ticonderoga pencils. Again, it kind of goes along with the Crayola crayons. I know it seems like these are the most expensive pencils. Why are we asking for them? We ask for them because they last a long time and they don't break, so we're not constantly having to sharpen pencils while we're doing other activities. And again, the kids, they have their pencil for a long time. We don't have to give them new pencils because they do last. Clorox wipes. I know these are hard to find, but they do help clean the classroom, so if we can get those, that would be much appreciated. And Expo markers. So we find dry erase markers in the bigger size and in the skinny size. For us in kindergarten, we like to use the skinny ones because they're easy for the kids to hold on to and practice like writing with a pencil. But these are also really good. The bigger ones, the kids like to use these too, and we use them all the time. So again, this would be a great material for us to have. Well, thank you for joining me for our kindergarten readiness meeting. I know it's not the same as meeting in person, but I really appreciate that you took the time to watch the video, and we'll see you this fall. Bye.